Here we go. Here we go. Ladies and gents, UFC 314 fight week, Volk, Lopes. I'm here to give you my breakdown of the card, some picks, some bets. Really good card. Really looking forward to it. Let's get right into it. Start off the first fight of the night. Nora Cornoli versus Haley Cohen. Women's bantamweight fight. Gonna be dull, probably. You know how these ones go. There's gonna be a lot of clinching, a lot of takedown attempts. But for my breakdown of this fight, Nora Cornoli is actually a good fighter. I'd say she's a good fighter for this division. She's ranked in this division. She has a TKO win, a couple fights ago, lost a split decision to Jacqueline Cavalcanti, who is good. She's not bad. Overall, she's not bad. She has good distance striking, good clinch game, good knees, elbows in the clinch, and look for her to use those in this fight against Haley Cohen. Haley Cohen, not a great start to her career, has been injured a lot, had lost Jimmy Linworth about 2 years ago, so also really inactive. If she's going to win this fight, she's going to have to do it through the takedowns. She does average 1.5 takedowns per fight on a 33% clip. Good takedown defense, but she's going to want to attack this 50% takedown defense rate of Nora Cornoli. But I just think Cornoli is a more dynamic striker, more dynamic fighter. The fact where she can get a win through snapping takedowns, shoving Cohen off her, and just beating her up to the legs, the body, kneeing her in the clinch is going to be a big weapon for her. So to start off, let me go to Nora Cornoli by decision, or watch out for TKO in the clinch. That's also a possibility here. Next fight, we got Tresean Gore and Marco Tulio. This is an interesting one. Tulio here is a big favorite over Gore, which is valid, I would say. You've seen Gore get put out in the past by Cody Brundage, which is not a good look. I know he did just get a TKO last month, but it's not a good look to get put up by Cody Brundage if you're trying to be a top-level middleweight. And he lost a decision to Brian Battle, which isn't bad. And he is on a 2-fight win streak against Josh Ryan and Antonio Tricoli. But for being honest here, those are kind of bottom of the barrel middleweights. And Peteria being Tulio's last win. It's not a great win. Peteria's been put out by a lot of guys, but Tulio did put him out bad. And he just looked sharp in all of his contender series fights in his UFC debut. Lands at a high clip, doesn't get hit a lot, has really good defense. Gore, it's kind of flipped. He gets hit a lot, doesn't have great defense, doesn't land enough. We go down here to the grappling. This is Gore's path to victory, right? Getting a takedown, setting 75% accuracy, and setting up his guillotine, probably getting a mounted guillotine here. Look out for that if you do believe that Gore is going to win. Tulio is a favorite. He's a favorite for a good reason. He should be able to put out Gore on the feet in the first couple of rounds. He has to make sure his takedown defense is on point. But if he can defend all those takedown attempts from Gore, he will be able to put him on the feet and get a TKO victory here. Moving on. Next fight on the card. We got slow right now, but it's going to be Sumu Derji versus Mitroposo. Love for it to load. We'll just keep going. It's all good. Sumu Derji is going to have a big height and reach advantage in this fight against Raposo. He's got about a 3-inch height advantage along with a 7 to 8-inch reach advantage. And I know he's on a 3-fight skid. We've been seeing him lose a lot basically since 2021. 2022 was his last one against, don't know who Adashaev is, to be honest with you. In his last fight against Charles Johnson, my apologies, he looked well. He was competitive in that fight. He fought well. Did get dropped. Did get taken down a couple times. I know takedown defense isn't great, but he was competitive in there, the top 15 guys were on Charles Johnson. So you have to put some stake in that. I do put a stake in that. And with Mitroposo, I know his record looks good at 9-2. Not submitted by Jake Hadley, who isn't in the UFC anymore. Had losses at flyweight and bantamweight. And then his last fight against Andre Lima, which was on the Makhachev Poirier card, was a split decision. But if we go to this fight over here against Raposo and Lima, I don't know how it was a split decision, to be honest with you. There was no control time for Raposo. He just did get outstriked every round. It was competitive, yes, but should have been a split? Absolutely not. That's just bad judging, in my opinion. So if Raposo's only essentially good point in the UFC is to have a split decision, that shouldn't be a split decision against a good fighter, I don't know how much they can put in that. I think we'll see here. He's going to be at a big range disadvantage. He's going to be trying to get on the inside to secure takedowns. And Tumudera just has to be tappy on the outside. Low kicks, jabs. Look like Adesanya, look like Lerone Murphy, Leon Edwards on the outside, tapping low kicks, jabs, twos, straight shots to keep Raposo away from him. But if Raposo is to win this fight, he's going to look to get the takedowns and secure possibly just a control time decision or a submission even. Because Sumidoji has been submitted in the past. He did get submitted by Match Now. He did get submitted by Tim Elliott. Not great looks. But those guys have been top 15 level in the UFC before. I don't believe that. I don't believe that Mitch Raposo is top 15 level in the UFC. So I see Sumidoji here just getting a decision win, moving around the outside, tapping low kicks, like I said, tapping jabs, and just wins kind of a stale, boring decision. Next fight. Cedric Dumas and Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. While we let this load, I'm sure we'll start talking about it. Oleksiejczuk is on a big loss streak at the moment. He's been losing a lot of fights. He's been losing his last fight to Shermagomedov back in this last summer, which was a competitive fight. He didn't get blown out of the water by Shermagomedov, but he did lose a comfortable decision. He got put away by Michel Pereira. He got put away by Kevin Holland, although he did drop Kevin Holland in the first round of their fight. Did get submitted right after, but he's been losing to very good levels of competition. And you got to respect that if you're him. Whereas if you look at Dumas, he has lost to Rizaboyev last year, got knocked out handily, got dominated in that fight, lost pretty quickly. Got submitted by Josh Fremd, which I don't like. And his 3 wins in the UFC being Cody Brundage, Abu Zaitar, and Dennis Delulin. I don't put much stock on that. Like, he's going to decisions with Dennis Delulin, Abu Zaitar, and Cody Brundage, whereas you see, I know it was a couple years ago, but the Citrix is putting out Chidi Njokuani in the first round by TKO. And he's losing to guys like Caio Bahayo. And he's seeing such a step down in competition here against Dumas, where I think he should be able to get the win. But if Dumas' path to victory is here, and you see he's taller, he's longer, stay on the outside, and work his grappling, because Volk does have a bad takedown defense rate. 40% is not good. You don't want to be getting taken down once every other takedown. You don't want that. But at the same time, his takedown defense is worse. His takedown percentage is worse. And Oleksiejczuk did take down Shermagomedov. He did mix up against him. So I don't see a very clear path to victory here for Dumas. He's very low volume, whereas Oleksiejczuk's very high volume. He's going to move forward, look to land big shots. I think Dumas had a disadvantage here. I think you're Oleksiejczuk, you're moving forward. You're shucking off takedown attempts. You're getting into that range, using your boxing, landing heavy punches, which hurt Dumas and will eventually put him away. If you're Dumas, obviously you have to look to work in the grappling. Use your range, jab, and work that into takedowns to eventually win a decision. Possibly find a submission. That's possible against Oleksiejczuk because he can be submitted. But I think he's at a disadvantage this fight. I think this is a Mikhail Oleksiejczuk TKO the first couple rounds, maybe the second or third round. May not be very early, but I think that's what we see in this one. Next up, we got the Battle of the Old Heads. We got Darren Elkins at 40 years old, about to be 41 next month, and Julian Erosa at 35. This one's interesting. I think I see Erosa as a big favorite. This one, I don't think the odds are properly reflecting that. I think it's a closer fight than it seems to be. Because it's a fight that can go either way, but it'll be clear which way. It'll be clear which way the fight's going to be going once you're watching it. What I mean by that, if Erosa's going to win, he's going to put him out early in the first round, early second round, he's going to get him out of there. He's put away guys like Christian Rodriguez, Ricardo Ramos. He's put away Jamal Embers, who just got a sick KO in Mexico City a couple weeks ago. He's put away Sean Woodson, who's on this card, who's a great fighter. He's put away these really high-level guys at the unranked pool at featherweight. But if he is going to lose, he's going to get crap. Elkins is going to survive, essentially. He's going to have that cockroach style, shoot takedowns, survive, be very hard to put away, and just keep on grinding and grinding up until the late second, third round, which you can take over the fight. Now, I say that, but I do think it's close. I think if it goes to decision, it's going to be close. Because Arosa, I can trust him, and I can cover about a round and a half of cardio, I'd say. I know he could very well put him away in the first round. Don't get me wrong. He's put away multiple guys via submission or KO. So he could have put away Elkins, but Elkins doesn't get put away a lot. Like, he got put away last against Cub Swanson. And you would think that Cub Swanson and Arosa are on similar levels at this point in their career. Maybe Arosa's a bit better. But I see Arosa dominating him for a round and a half. And then in the third round, Elkins is going to come on, grapple, get it down, hold against the cage. But that second round is going to be where we see it's going to be a toss-up. It's either going to be you're going with Elkins because he's going to come on later in the round, or also because of the damage and kind of dynamics he's had early in the round. I think Arosa wins a close decision here. I know that kind of contradicts everything I just said, saying that he wins the first couple rounds, but I think he does enough damage, and I put a lot of respect on Elkins' toughness to survive in this one. So I'm going to say wins a decision, but Elkins has to win this by grappling, obviously. You see, he has crazy volume. He just goes and goes and goes. He lands takedowns, shoots takedowns, lands takedowns. Watch out for an Arosa guillotine here, because Arosa could snatch up a guillotine and off an Elkins shot and put him away, because that's what he did to Sirod, which is a really good win. So I'm going to say Julian Arosa either by close, like split decision territory, or put him away by guillotine in the first round. But if Elkins is to win, it's going to be the grappling and the clinch. It's going to be a dirty, ugly fight. Moving on, Jim Miller and Chase Hooper. Jesus. Got about a 16-year age difference here. Jim Miller's 41, Chase Hooper's 25. This is a tough matchup for Miller. It's set up for him to lose and for Hooper to get a win against a big name in Jim Miller, obviously. We've seen Hooper come into his own at 155. When he was at 145, he would have these dominant grappling forces where he put out guys in the first round, but he'd get killed in his next fight. He lost bad. His team first that got dropped 3 times in that fight, put away early. But you see here at the bottom, since he's moved up to 155, dominated Nick Fior, submitted Jordan Levitt, submitted Slav Claus, submitted Clay Guida. Now, Jim Miller is a step up in competition from all those guys, right? So we're going to have to see Hooper's game level up. I think at a point in his career, we're seeing his game level up each fight. And although Jim Miller is off winning against Damon Jackson, that Bobby Green fight was so bad. He took so much damage, and you gotta assume that he's less of himself, obviously. And in a fight against Hooper, who is just such a good grappler, he's just such a pure jiu-jitsu. He's really good at it. It's a pure jiu-jitsu grappling. Hooper's able to create scrambles and cinch up a choke against Miller, and you got to think he's more dynamic in those scrambles. So you have to give him the benefit of the doubt that he will find a submission. And even on the feet, he's long. He has a big height. He has a big height advantage here. He has a reach advantage. He's going to be long, land strikes. But if you're Hooper, I don't think you want to be in the striking realm with Jim Miller, because he will throw big shots, and he will land big. He landed on Bobby Green. I know everyone rocks Bobby Green, but you're Hooper. You want to create scrambles. You want to shoot takedowns. Just create chaos really in the cage against Miller and find a choke spot. Look for a front headlock type choke, maybe a Darce, maybe a guillotine. Get to the back, even if you're on your back, latch a triangle. Like, he has such a deep bag of submissions. I think he'll find one against Jim Miller. If you're Miller, I I think it's really hard really hard for him to win. I think you avoid the grappling with the land bombs on the feet, but I think it's tough when we're kind of seeing him develop into his own now. And the stuff that he's tailor-made to win, I think he will get the win here against Miller. So I'm going to go with Chase Hooper via early submission, probably in the first round, I'd say. Yeah, definitely that. Moving on, women's strawweight. Basically, title eliminator here. Yan Xiaonan, Verna Jandiroba. This is a close fight, in my opinion. I think it's going to go one of two ways. You're either going to see Yan Xiaonan kind of sprawl takedown, strike with her on the feet, beat up Verna to maybe a TKO or just probably a 3-round decision. Or Verna's going to establish her control game and look to control her, take her back, possibly submit her. You look at Xiaonan's career against grapplers. She stopped takedowns against Richie. Richie's not a great grappler. Wei Li beat her up on the ground. Controlled her for multiple rounds of that fight. But we gotta just, at a certain point, it's Wei Li. So she did that to Tatiana Suarez. And we all assume that Tatiana Suarez has a strong grappling base. So I'm gonna have to go on a limb and say that is not a reflection of Xiaonan's total ground game. Knocked out Andrade. Stuffed Mackenzie Dern's takedowns. Stuffed about the takedowns that fight over the course of a decision. And Verna does have the momentum right now. Submitted Lemos and just beat Godinez, Miranda Rodriguez, and Angela Hill. So it's a tough fight. She will look to front of grappling, lands 2.3 takedowns per fight at 34% clip. And Xiaonan's takedown defense isn't the greatest at 63%. So it's going to be a tough fight. I could definitely see Xiaonan getting controlled for a round. Maybe a bit of another round, like a round and a half she gets controlled for. Similar to what we saw with Austin Hubbard and Markel Medeiros a couple weeks ago in Mexico, where Hubbard had like a round and a half control. And it went to a split decision because in the other half of that round, where he did control Medeiros got up, landed big shots, cut him. Look for a damage-based decision for Xiaonan, I think. If she can handle the grappling of Verna Jandiroba enough, which is to be seen, right? Because last we've seen of her getting grappled really was her getting dominated by Wei Li, which is not a good look whatsoever. But I think, she trains at Team Alpha Male with Uriah Faber and all those guys, and all they do out there is just train takedown defense. Other people aren't wrestlers, right? You're in the room with wrestlers, you're drilling your takedown defense all day, every day. So I think Xiaonan has been developing that part of her game, whereas I don't think Jandiroba is going to look good on the feet with Xiaonan. So if he doesn't land her takedowns, doesn't control her, or even find a submission, it's not going to look good, I don't think. So I'm going to begrudgingly say Xiaonan by a close decision. Although I could very well see Verna getting that control time, finding a submission, or just controlling for the 3 rounds and winning a decision. But the win here should fight probably Wei Li if she stay at strawweight. And Xiaonan wins. Fuck it, make the fight in China. Who knows? Make the rematch in China. We don't really need to see it, but it'd be fun. Yeah, I'm gonna say Yan Xiaonan, a close decision, damage based, stuffs takedowns, land strikes on the feet. That's what I'm saying. Next up, Ige, Sean Woodson. This is weird. Really weird fight. I mean, guys, Woodson has a 7-inch reach advantage and about an 8-inch height advantage. 6'2" in featherweight. He's awesome at range. That's what his entire game's predicated off of. It's predicated off of landing straight shots, beating guys up with front kicks, with leg kicks, with jabs and twos. He's going up for knockout against Fernando Padilla because Padilla got overzealous and rushed him in, and Woodson landed good counter shots. So Ige, you have to be careful with that because we've seen him put away guys with his counter shots. But there is obviously the opportunity for Ige to just land a bomb, which he's been doing in his fights with guys who aren't ranked. Bryce Mitchell, Lopes, Earl Murphy. He can land the big shot. that puts away Woodson. But it's going to be difficult because he has to just, like, physically, he has to reach so high to find that shot. It's going to be hard for him to do that. So I think the smart thing here is just to, I think the smart thing is to sign with Woodson that he's going to win a technical decision. Like 84% takedown defense. Ige's not going to resort to the grappling. He can't really resort to the grappling. I don't think he'll have much success there. So he's just going to get kind of pieced up on the field by Woodson. And Woodson's going to be top. He's going to be ranked top 50 in the world. I think he loses eventually to someone. I just don't know if Ige gets it done. It's weird. This guy's fucking weird, man. I don't know. Woodson is. It honestly disturbs me. His fight style, how tall he is at featherweight. Because you would think he's going to lose to one of these guys. And maybe Ige is the guy to get it done. To just put away and end this kind of, I don't even know what to call it. Like, I don't know what to call him. Just to end this creature. From going on his run at 145. But look at the numbers, man. He's lands with 1-2. Good defense. He's better. I mean, doesn't hit as much as Ige. But Ige's kind of low volume. And you can't be low volume against a guy who's this tall. Who's looking to just land jabs and be tender that you have to go forward. You have to be like, you watch Daniel Huber and Esteban Ribovic. Ribovic had the perfect game plan to deal with a tall opponent. Crazy volume, going forward, heavy kicks, heavy punches. I just feel like if Ige is loading up for the one shot, he's not going to find it. He's having a really hard time finding it. So I think Sean Woodson's going to get a decision here. Be technical, straight shots on the feet. And probably just get a 29-28, maybe in the 3-0 decision here. So I'm going to go Sean Woodson by decision. Okay, finally on the main card, Nikita Krylov, Dominic Reyes. This is a pretty crazy fight because Krylov fights like a psychopath, man. He moves forward with a lot of volume. He goes through takedowns, goes through submissions. I mean, you watch his first round against Volk, he's fighting like a maniac. He knocked out Gustafsson in a minute. Granted, old to Gustafsson. Granted, he got submitted by Volk, Craig and lost Tank Live. Close fight Tank Live, though. And did submit Ryan Spann, but we do know now. We've learned that Ryan Spann is an idiot. And, he doesn't do... He makes poor decisions in fights most of the time. I say that Ryan Spann knocked out Dominic Reyes. I'm going to pick Dominic Reyes here. I'm going to pick Dominic Reyes because I think we're seeing Reyes with momentum. Momentum's a big thing in the sport, I feel like. And when you're getting KO'd when you're losing a close decision that you feel like you won, and you did win against John Jones, and you lose to Jan, and then you get knocked out by Yuri, get knocked out by Jan, then Yuri, you get knocked out by Spann because that's the trajectory of how your career is going. And we saw with Ferguson, he just couldn't just stop the downward momentum and just kind of climb back up the hill. And I hope we see Volk do the same thing, kind of stop momentum and climb back up and get a win. But we did see Reyes get 2 back-to-back wins here. Granted, the Smith fight, there's a beating that Smith just endured and he just took, right? That was an ugly watch. But more even the style, it's not even just, I think the momentum is a big part of it because he's off 2 wins and Krylov hasn't fought for 2 years in that layoff. We don't see guys come back from those layoffs well most of the time. We saw Chandler come back from 2 years off and he looked bad. He looked bad against Oliveira. We saw even Yuri against Silver when he fought Pereira in the first time. He looked like a lesser version of himself fighting off that layoff. And we just saw with Josh Emmett. He was out for over a year and he didn't fight bad, but they're not the best version of himself. So I can't come out here and assume that Krylov is going to be the best version of himself. And even on the styles, I think Reyes is a very clean counter striker. When you're fighting a guy like Krylov who's going to move forward and be reckless and throw shots against you, Reyes can find that slip left hand counter. He can avoid the 1-2 head kick, land the big left shot, right hook, body kick. I think Reyes wants to TKO here, post him away, and we just see the streak of Dominic Reyes keep on going, the rebirth. Dominic Reyes keep going. Krylov's really good though. Krylov in this fight is going to be through his high volume, and he's going to put away Reyes. Because if Reyes is still compromised, and he doesn't have the greatest chin, But he gets hit with a big shot. Krylov, he may get put down. He may get dropped and get subbed by Krylov. That is possible. Actually, if Krylov is to win UFC, I think that's his path to victory. I think Reyes is too sharp on the feet. I think he can find a counter and put him away early first round, I think. We see a big moment for Dominic Reyes. So I'm going to go with that. Dominic Reyes, round one. Round one, KO. Yeah. Okay. It seems like they changed the bout order because I thought it was going to be Yair Pitbull after that fight, but looks like they changed it. This is the one everyone wants to talk about. Bryce Mitchell, Gene Silva. I think we're seeing a lot of Bryce Mitchell hype for, haha, Bryce Mitchell. It's funny. But I think when you actually look at this matchup, I think Bryce is outmatched here. I think Bryce is outmatched because I think Gene Silva is one of them ones, guys. I think he's one of them ones who's going to go on a run, and we're going to see this guy go through the division. And I just don't think Mitchell is the guy to put him away. Because I have a multitude of reasons here. Mitchell's last win is Kron Gracie. We all know Kron Gracie poses no immediate danger to a fighter. We saw that against Charles Jourdain, where he just pulled guard and butt scooted for 3 rounds and lost 3-0 decision. And he was on his way to doing that against Mitchell. But he pulled guard, got slammed, out elbowed, and just was dazed out of the fight. So you're Bryce Mitchell, you're going from that to fighting an absolute killer in Silva, who puts guys away in the first round. He didn't put Dober or Jourdain away, right? He put Jourdain away pretty quick in the second and just beat up Dober at elevation. So this fight does go into the second, third round. I just don't think his shots are going to have that much taken off of them. These guys train hard at the Fighting Nerds. They train smart. They have a really smart team around him. They know Mitchell's going to be shooting takedowns. They've been training for takedowns. They've been training for Bryce Mitchell since this fight got announced 5 weeks ago. And more specifically, you look back on Mitchell's fight against Dan Ige, right? So we had the Kron-Gracie fight. The great fight, I said, no danger. Emmett fight, he got slapped. Short notice, Bryce Mitchell excuses. It is what it is. The Dan Ige fight wasn't a good fight to begin with. But even in the moments that they were on the feet, Mitchell got his eye busted up bad. His eye was completely shut. It was cut up. It was swollen. It was bad. I thought Ige could have potentially gotten that fight, but he got controlled, and Mitchell did do well with the grappling. On the feet, he got hit with shots that if John Silva hits you with those shots, you get put up cold. You get hit with a straight right from Dan Ige. It cuts you, doesn't put you away. I know I was talking about Ige's power in his breakdown, but Silva has that power where he hits guys and they go out. He hits Jourdain with an uppercut where he's controlling his head. He goes like that. He goes out. He hits Badassarian with a 1-2. I don't know, a 3-2. And he puts him out. Also, look for a flying knee here. These, the guys at the Fighting Nerds always have, creative ways to get finishes based off their opponent's tendencies. We saw that with Hoofy and Bobby Green. You know that Bobby Green throws his hands. Hoofy fakes the hook, throws his bank kick, gets the knockout. In this fight, I think when they know that Mitchell's going to be shooting, so they're going to look for a creative way to end this fight. Look for a flying knee from Silva. I could envision that. Or envision something similar where Mitchell just kind of strikes with his hands low and gets hit with a 3-2 and just gets put out. Because I don't think he's going to be able to take that shot. And that's not just because of the Josh Emmett fight. He was getting beaten around the cage by Ilya in that second round. So I think he gets KO'd here. I don't think he can implement the grappling well enough to control Silva for all 3 rounds or even find a submission because he doesn't finish guys in the UFC. He finished Gracie, granted. He got that twister, granted. That's it. Those are his finishes in the UFC. So why are we assuming that he's going to finish John Silva? I don't understand that. If he wins, he's going to take him down for 3 rounds and make it a boring fight and control him. That's what we're going to see. And if that's what people want to see, that's what they want to see, right? But I think Gene Silva could work his way back up to the feet. They mentioned the Jourdain fight, but he did work his way back to the feet in that one. He got taken down momentarily, got back up. Is it hard to get up against Bryce Mitchell and Charles Jourdain? Of course it is. But I see him just getting up and being able to find the shot. These guys are shot finders. Like he's gonna find the shot against Bryce Mitchell. Could be tough. I see him losing, maybe losing the first round, getting taken down, getting held there. But I think he finds a shot, whether it be a flying knee, whether it be on the feet with punches. I don't think if there wasn't a Bryce Mitchell, I'm not gonna say hype train, but if there wasn't all this momentum over Bryce Mitchell's name right now for everything he says, I don't think people will be picking him. I think if you look at this and who's more dangerous guy here, it's objectively it's Gene Silva. And they train hard, they train smart there, man. They're not gonna let him get into the fight and be emotional. He's gonna go in there and look for the shot and find the shot against Mitchell because Mitchell has openings on the feet. He has a lot of openings on the feet, and he's just not a good striker. He's not a way. I know his stats suggest otherwise. 60%, one strike toward a minute. This is largely to the fact that he takes guys down and controls them. I don't think he controls Silva. It's his path to victory. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think he gets it done. I think we see John Silva in round 2 KO here. That's what I'm gonna say. Yair, and making his UFC debut, Patricio Pitbull. This is another, this card's a lot of weird fucking fights, man. This is another weird one. Pitbull is 37, on the verge of being 38, and we don't know how he stacks up against really any UFC comp. He killed Michael Chandler 6 years ago, but I don't know how much stock I place on that. Pitbull's coming off a win, but he just got KO'd in Rising against a Japanese guy 2 years ago, year and a half ago, I think. And he's just inactive. I know he's been waiting for his shot to get a fight because Pitbull wouldn't give him any fights. He also been waiting to get into the UFC. I just think he's getting into the UFC at the wrong time, in a way. Yair, while there is opportunities for him to lose here, he's lost. He's come off lost to Ortega, lost to Volkanovski pretty dominantly, lost to Holloway. His losses in the UFC are to the best of the best. They're to Edgar, they're to Holloway, Volkanovski, and Ortega. Is Pitbull on that level? I don't think so. I think this fight can go very similar to the Josh Emmett one that we saw Yair fight a couple years back for the interim title, where he was fighting a shorter guy and he just fucking hammered body kicks, he hammered leg kicks, he hammered head kicks. He'd go head kick into a straight right, straight left. He's really dynamic like that. And I know similar thing happened with Volkanovski where he tried to fight him that way and Volkanovski resorted to the wrestling. Does Pitbull resort to the wrestling? I don't think so. I think he looks for a big bomb on the feet. He's pretty low output. Also, he has good defense, but he has low output. He's susceptible to leg kicks, body kicks being the shorter guy. I think we see Yair find a highlight victory here. I think we can see him going to the body repeatedly, setting up a head kick against Pitbull. I think it's just kind of a match. We don't know really how Pitbull stacks up against this. We have to see, right? But he's low output, and I just don't think a guy who doesn't shoot enough, like Ortega does, and was also low output. This guy knocked down Ortega twice. He was out striking him, and he couldn't find the finish, got on the ground, and got submitted. That's somewhere you don't want to be with Ortega. He got beaten up by Volkanovski, but it's fucking Volkanovski in 2023. This is his prime, right? So I don't think Yair's done. I don't think he's just not high level anymore. He's still a very high level striker. He's still such a dynamic striker. And he's out there in Chicago training with Baja Mendez, training with Bilal, surrounded by a good team. And I think Pitbull made this move to the UFC too late. And I don't think he gets it done. If he gets it done, I think he has to make it ugly, clinch up Yair against the cage. Maybe he could find a one shot, because I know Pitbull does have that one shot power with his right hand, but it's gonna be hard. He's got this 5 to 6 inch height advantage here. This guy's he's like 5'5" and a half, 5'6". It says 5'5" here, it says 5'6" somewhere else. Let's go 5'5" and a half. But to land that right hand, similar to what I was saying about the Danny Ige Sean Woodson fight, it's hard to land. It's hard to find that big shot over the top. Against It's a tall guy who's going to be keeping at range with the kicks. He has a shorter reach. I don't think he can find the shot against Jair. Jair gets hit. He puts himself in the firing line. But he's getting hit by Max Holloway and Alexander Volkanovski. These are the greatest featherweights of all time. Pitbull's not on that level. He's never been on that level, I don't think. Maybe he could have gone to the UFC like 2-3 years ago and competed for a title when he was at the peak of his Bellator run. But, 2-3 years removed from that Bellator run, now he's come fight this dynamic striker that no one can really prepare for. You don't just bring in a Taekwondo guy to prepare for Yair. You need something a lot more than that. I don't think it happens. I think Yair sets him up with body kicks, hurts his body bad, hammers him to the body, lands knees, elbows. I think he finds a head kick. Second, third round, gets a highlight finisher. Puts on for the UFC. That's what I think we see. Co-main event of the evening, Micah Chandler and Paddy Pimblett. I swear like half of these fights have the same script. So he does the shorter guy land the bomb over the top. I swear I've been saying that for the past 3 fights. And it differs if I say he doesn't or doesn't. Right? There's obviously some hypocritical bias to all their picks, but what do you expect from me? I'm a human. Chandler and Paddy. Paddy drops his hands. He has low striking defense. He gets hit with a lot of shots. So by that logic, Chandler can hit him with the bomb off the top, similar to what he did to Dan Hooker, and put him away. I don't see it. I can't see it. I don't think it's gonna happen. He looked really bad in that Oliveira fight, man. Like, aside from that 5th round where he did hurt him, Oliveira shot for a takedown, ended up on bottom. Chandler hit him with 45 back in the headshots. Aside from that moment, he looked really bad in that fight. He's getting controlled on the ground. This D1 wrestler just getting effortlessly controlled, getting his back taken. Paddy takes your back. He's gonna sense a choke and find. He's gonna find the choke that gets your back. He was just hesitant on the feet, and I don't think he's going to be nearly as hesitant in this fight because I don't think in his mind he thinks he needs a win. He's 1-4. He's 1-4 in his last 5 fights, so in theory he's been needing a win for a while here, and he hasn't gotten it. But he's just going to come out guns blazing against Mike Chandler, guys. So Paddy's to avoid those big bombs, right? But it's hard to say that he's going to avoid those because he does drop his hands and he keeps his chin up in the air. And if Chandler connects with one of those big shots, you're going out. But I think Paddy just has a better game at this point in their careers, man. Like, if this fight gets anywhere close to the ground, I think Paddy can finish it. I think that's how he's going to finish it. I think he's going to finish it by submission. I actually see Chandler being reckless, but pushing back into the cage. Maybe even shooting a takedown. I know it'd be very stupid to shoot a takedown against Paddy. But come on, guys. It's Chandler. Are we going to count it out? Are we going to say that's impossible and that can't happen? I don't know. Like, he took down Poirier, got his back taken, got submitted. He felt less danger against Poirier than he's going to feel against Paddy when it comes to the grappling, obviously. But I can't trust him to make smart decisions in this fight and get a clean win, or even just get a clean knockout. I can't trust it. Could have happened, yes. He could find the KO shot and put him out, put him away. But Paddy, I think he's good enough to keep distance with his kicks. He's longer. His kicking game, whether it be leg kicks, body kicks, head kicks, he's going to be winning those kicks out to keep Chandler away. And when he does barge in, I think Paddy can meet him in the clinch, get a body lock, trip him out. And once you're grappling, I think entirely in Paddy's world. I think we see a Paddy victory from the grappling. I can't even resort to an old Pimblett fight to say how this one's going to go because he hasn't fought someone with Chandler, right? And I guess, you could say it's really good BJJ practitioner. He fought Oliveira, didn't get submitted by Oliveira, got submitted by Poirier. In his last fight, he could have very easily gotten submitted by Oliveira, just got controlled. Oliveira, I don't think Oliveira was necessarily even going for a finish. He was in a couple instances, but he wasn't chasing a finish. Paddy's going to chase a finish. If you're chasing a finish against Chandler and he gives you an opportunity, you're going to take it. So I think that's when Chandler makes some dumb decisions, like we usually see him do. Bad, he gets the choke. With that being said, though, Chandler could get the KO. The big overhand, big hook. I mean, we'll see if Scousers really don't get knocked out. Because if Patty eats some shots in this one, that'll be really impressive. But if he does, I think he will get the submission victory here against Chandler, probably early round 2-ish. That's what I'll say. Finally, main event, featherweight title on the line is Ilya vacated Volk and Lopes. This is tough. Volk's off a 14-month layoff. Lopes has been extremely active the past year and a half since Volk's kind of been just taking these KO losses. Lopes has a good path to victory here, guys. Weighing a big shot and drop Volk and put him away. Similar to a Mavov Adesanya, similar to a lot of fights we've been seeing with these older guys who've been good champ in the past, just lose. If Lopes is his next gen and puts him in by TKO, that's how he's going to win this fight. More specifically, I could see him doing it in the clinch, because Volkanovski does have some bad tendencies against taller fighters in the clinch, whether it had been Makhachev or Yair or Holloway. He posts with his head up, and that can get him hurt here against Lopes. Whether it be a big uppercut, a big right hand, a big hook. Like Lopes he's dangerous. He's really dangerous. He has power, and he puts guys away. Look at this Sadiq Yusuf fight. He puts him away. Sabatini fight put him away. But if Volk can look like the version of Alexander Volkanovski that we've seen throughout his career, mostly, it's a tailor-made match. This is a tailor-made matchup for him, honestly. Like, he was doing well against Ilya. Like, we watched that fight. He was doing really well against Ilya. He was landing good kicks. And, yeah, his fatal flaw just got him, his backing up with his chin up in the air got him knocked out. You gotta think they've been working on that. If they just take anything away from that Topuria fight, you gotta think it's been that. I think Volk will come on stronger later in the third championship rounds, in the fourth and fifth, third round 2. That's when Lopes does start to fade, like we saw against E-Game. And I don't give him too much slack for that one because that was on 3 hours notice, and that was a rough week for him. With all the opponent changes, weight changes. And he looked really good against Ortega cardio-wise. And he's fucking dangerous, man. Like, he has the opportunity just to put Volk's lights on and get the belt. And become a star off Volkanovski's name. But this is fucking Volkanovski you're talking about, man. This is one of the greatest fighters ever. And I know he's off 2 KO losses. And taking the Makhachev fight was fucking dumb. And then taking the Topuria fight right after was fucking dumb. It was all dumb, I know. But he has the tools to get this done. He's a better striker. He lands more. He takes less shots. Better accuracy. He's a much better striker. He's going to be landing his jab. He's going to be feinting well. He's going to be landing low kicks. Lopes is reactionary on the feet. He's going to look to counter Volk on the feet also. He is a counter striker. But Volkanovski's too damn on the feet, man. I got struck Max Holloway. I'll struck Holloway multiple times. He put a beating on Ortega. I think the Ortega matchup's really a comparable fight here. Lopes is more danger on the feet than Ortega, obviously. But he also accepts bottom position on the ground. Look at his fight with Evloev. He accepts bottom position on the ground. Look at his fight. He lost to Jordan Brito, guys. We just saw Brito get dominated by Pat Sabatini last week. And I know it's weird in my main mouth because Lopes beat Sabatini and Sabatini beat Brito and Brito beat Lopes. It's weird, right? Don't get me wrong. My point is, he accepts bottom position a lot. He'll throw up submissions because he's comfortable throwing up submissions off his back, whether it be a triangle armbar. We saw him get a triangle armbar in his fight against Gavin Tucker. But Volkanovski deals with those guys perfectly. Those guys who work off their back. He dealt with Ortega, man, and landed huge ground and pound shots against Ortega. He lands vicious ground and pound. I see him mixing up in the third, fourth, and fifth to kind of just secure a unanimous decision here. And That's how he's going to win. He's going to win by just striking cautiously and well in the first couple of rounds. Avoid the fucking clinch. For the love of God, please avoid the clinch. So Lopes doesn't have the space, or he does really well in the close area, right? Volkanovski does well at the long range and the mid range. I'd say to avoid this range. If you're going to be in this range, shoot for a takedown. If you're in this range, you got to be going for wrestling. If you're in this range, you're striking. This range, you're striking. But I have a lot of success at these medium and long ranges against Lopes. So in the first couple of rounds, you avoid the clinch, you avoid those big bombs, and once Lopes starts to gas and get tired, you're working the wrestling, and then he's going to be, I think, complacent enough to work submissions on his back and not try and get up and not try and just grit down and move forward. Because that's what we see from him. That's what we see from him in the past. He is accepting of just throwing up submissions on his back. And I just think that's a bad position to be in when you're fighting Volkanovski, because the guy, like, he doesn't have a fucking neck. He's a tree stump of a guy, and he just doesn't get submitted. So didn't get submitted with Makhachev on his back. Didn't get submitted in Ortega's triangle. Like, come on. I can't say Diego Lopes is going to get a submission because he submitted Gavin Tucker. Like, I don't believe that. I think Lopes is going to win. He's going to land a big shot that puts up Volkanovski in the first round and a half. Second round, maybe. But aside from that, I think Volkanovski has the tools to win this fight with the jabs, with the leg kicks, with the wrestling base. And just fight like Volk, man. That's how you win this fight, bro. You fight like Volk. You mix up everything because you're great. One of the best mixed martial artists ever. And you avoid the danger with Lopes. So that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say Alexander Volkanovski gets his fucking belt back. I'm excited. Wins a unanimous decision. And I think overall we're going to see a great card here. I think we're going to see a lot of finishes with the co-main event. Throughout the card, I think we're going to see a lot of finishes with Yair, Silva, Paddy, Reyes. I think some good finishes on the early prelims. It's going to be a great card we're in store for, guys. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.